The night was dark. A diesel engine roared, its headlight cutting through the blackness. August 8, 1964 seemed like any other night. But this night was different. This night, a gang of robbers would attempt something audacious. They were about to pull off the unthinkable, stopping a Royal Mail train in its tracks and making off with millions. The target was a high-value package train. It was carrying millions of pounds sterling. The robbers were about to etch their names in criminal history. The Great Train Robbery, as it would come to be known, was about to become a legend. The train came to a stop and the robbers sprang into action. Wearing masks and wielding iron tools, they overpowered the train staff. The driver, Jack Mills, was struck on the head and forced to drive the train half a mile to the prearranged meeting point. At the heart of this daring plan was a mastermind and his crew. Bruce Reynolds, a charming and charismatic career criminal, was the brains behind the operation. He had assembled a motley crew of seasoned criminals. Each member brought a unique set of skills to the table. They studied train schedules, surveyed the target location, and rehearsed their roles. The robbers knew the stakes were high. Failure was not an option. The plan was in place, the team was ready, and the date was set. Reynolds brought in Roger Corddry, a signal expert, to rig the trackside signals, ensuring the train would stop at the right place. The gang even practiced how they would unload the money quickly and efficiently. The air hung heavy with anticipation as the night of the robbery arrived. The robbers, disguised and armed, took their positions. Every rustle of leaves, every hoot of an owl seemed to amplify the silence. Inside the mail car, unsuspecting postal workers went about their routine. The robbers were ready to make their move. Bruce Reynolds was no stranger to the shadowy world of crime. From petty theft in his youth, he graduated to bigger scores, always drawn to the thrill of the illicit. But this time, he envisioned something grander, something that would cement his name in the annals of criminal history. A robbery so audacious, so meticulously planned that it would become the stuff of legends. He had the charisma, the audacity, and the vision. What he needed was a crew. Reynolds had a knack for spotting talent, criminal talent, that is. He sought individuals with specific skills, men who could handle pressure, men who wouldn't crack under the immense weight of their audacious plan. Loyalty, he knew, was paramount in this dangerous game. The Great Train Robbery, as he envisioned it, would be a masterpiece of planning and execution. Among the recruits was Ronald Buster Edwards, whose boyish charm belied a cunning mind. Edwards, with his experience in petty crime and underworld connections, was tasked with handling the getaway vehicles. Then came the strong, silent type, Charlie Wilson, a man of few words but unquestionable loyalty, entrusted with the most physically demanding task, immobilizing the train. Adding another layer of expertise to the group was Roy James, a master of disguise and a skilled planner, brought in for his meticulous attention to detail. Despite their differences, a strange camaraderie began to form amongst the men. They spent hours poring over maps, studying train schedules, and rehearsing every detail of the heist. Under Reynolds' leadership, what seemed like an impossible task started to take a concrete shape. Every aspect of the robbery was meticulously planned and rehearsed. They practiced their roles, their movements synchronized like a well-oiled machine. Their hideout, a rented farmhouse called Leatherslade Farm, became their war room. Maps were spread across tables, covered in markings and cryptic notes, each detail scrutinized and debated. Weeks were spent monitoring the train schedules, familiarizing themselves with the routines of the railway workers. This was a game of patience, of careful observation, every detail meticulously analyzed to minimize risk and maximize their chances of success. Their meticulously crafted plan was a testament to their commitment. As August 8th approached, a palpable tension descended upon the group. The weight of their plan, the sheer audacity of it all, was finally sinking in. Gone was the initial thrill of the planning stage. replaced by a quiet determination, a steely resolve to see their plan through. They were like soldiers on the eve of a crucial battle, their camaraderie solidified by shared anxiety and a common goal. The final days were marked by a flurry of activity, last-minute checks, packing of equipment, and the somber acceptance of the risks involved. Conversations became clipped, punctuated by long silences as each man retreated into his own thoughts. Despite the mounting pressure, Bruce Reynolds remained calm, his demeanor a reflection of his unwavering confidence. The Great Train Robbery was no longer just a plan on paper. It was about to become a part of history. The train rumbled towards its fateful encounter. Inside, the postal workers were oblivious to the shadowy figures waiting in the darkness. As the train approached the tampered signal, its red light glowing ominously in the night, the driver, Jack Mills, reacted instinctively, slowing the train to a halt. He had no idea that this seemingly routine stop would propel him into the center of one of history's most audacious robberies. The train shuddered to a stop, its stillness amplifying the sounds of the night. The robbers, their faces hidden behind masks, emerged from their hiding places. Adrenaline surged through their veins as they approached the train. With the train disabled and the staff subdued, the robbers moved swiftly to their main objective, the high-value carriage. The door slid open, revealing sacks overflowing with cash, far more than they had anticipated. The sight was intoxicating, the culmination of months of meticulous planning. They worked with a frantic efficiency, their movements practiced, almost mechanical, their earlier anxieties replaced by a focused determination. Time was their biggest enemy now. They formed a human chain, passing heavy bags of money down the line, their bodies working on instinct, fueled by adrenaline and the promise of unimaginable wealth. As the last bag was transferred, a wave of relief washed over them. They had done it. Just when they thought they had overcome the biggest hurdle, a problem arose. Their carefully planned escape route was blocked. A roadblock set up for an unrelated incident stood between them and their intended hideout. Panic threatened to take hold. The robbers exchanged anxious glances. Reynolds, ever the strategist, took charge. They needed a new plan, and they needed it fast. Under Reynolds' calm direction, they formulated a new escape route, relying on back roads and their knowledge of the local terrain. The robbers piled into their waiting vehicles, the loot secured. The roar of the engines shattered the stillness of the countryside, a stark contrast to the silent precision of their operation just moments ago. They sped away from the scene of the crime, the darkness swallowing them whole. Behind them lay the empty train tracks, a silent testament to their audacity. Their escape route was fraught with tension. Every approaching headlight, every distant siren, sent a jolt of fear through them. They arrived at their prearranged rendezvous point, a secluded farmhouse miles from the robbery site. The Great Train Robbery was complete, but its story was just beginning. They brought supplies to last them several weeks, but despite their careful planning, they made some critical mistakes. Their downfall began when they tried to clean the farmhouse of all fingerprints but missed a few crucial spots. Fingerprints on a Monopoly board and a ketchup bottle provided the evidence the police needed. Dawn broke, casting its golden light across a nation about to wake up to an unbelievable story. News of the Great Train Robbery, a crime of unprecedented audacity, spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed from newspapers, radios buzzed with the shocking details, and the image of the ransacked mail train, a symbol of everyday life disrupted, was seared into the public consciousness. The sheer scale of the robbery, millions of pounds stolen, was staggering, capturing the nation's imagination. Reactions were mixed, ranging from disbelief and outrage to a grudging admiration for the sheer audacity of the crime. The public, accustomed to stories of petty theft, found themselves captivated by this daring heist. Detective Superintendent Jack Slipper, a seasoned investigator known for his sharp mind and relentless pursuit of justice, was assigned to lead the case. He arrived at the scene, a desolate stretch of track near Bridego Bridge, to find a meticulously executed crime scene. The robbers, it was clear, were no ordinary criminals. Every detail, from the tampered signal lights to the way they had handled the train staff, pointed to a well-organized gang, their actions betraying a military precision. The sheer volume of stolen money, stacked in a nearby field awaiting collection, was staggering. Early leads emerged. These seemingly insignificant details would prove crucial in the investigation, providing the first clues in a complex jigsaw puzzle. As the investigation gained momentum, the manhunt for the Great Train Robbers intensified, spreading across the UK and beyond. Police raids were conducted, tip lines were flooded with calls, and wanted posters bearing the faces of the suspects, though many were still unidentified, were plastered across the country. The nation was on high alert, the audacity of the crime turning the robbers into unlikely celebrities. Newspapers ran daily updates on the case, speculating on the robbers' identities, their motives, and their whereabouts. The public, captivated by the story, devoured every detail. The Great Train Robbery had become a national obsession. Weeks turned into months, and still the robbers remained elusive. But Detective Superintendent Slipper and his team were relentless, their determination fueled by a combination of professional pride and a deep sense of responsibility. They painstakingly pieced together the events leading up to the robbery, tracing the origins of the getaway vehicles, analyzing forensic evidence, and following up on every lead, no matter how insignificant it seemed. Their persistence paid off. A tip from an anonymous source led them to a secluded farmhouse, Leatherslade Farm. It was there, amidst the rolling hills of Oxfordshire, that they stumbled upon the robbers' hideout. Fingerprints matched, evidence linked to the crime scene was recovered, and the net began to tighten around the gang. The clock was ticking for the Great Train Robbers, their days of freedom numbered. The discovery of Leatherslade Farm triggered a wave of arrests. One by one, the members of the gang were apprehended, their dreams of a life of luxury funded by stolen millions shattered. The nation, captivated by the case, followed every twist and turn of the legal proceedings that followed. The courtroom became a stage. The robbers, once faceless figures, now thrust into the spotlight, their exploits dissected by lawyers and scrutinized by the public. The trials were as dramatic as the heist itself. Evidence was presented, witnesses testified, and the robbers, some defiant, others remorseful, faced the consequences of their actions. The weight of the evidence was overwhelming. The meticulously gathered clues, the forensic analysis, and the testimonies of those involved painted a damning picture. Despite attempts by some gang members to evade justice, most were found guilty and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. The mastermind, Bruce Reynolds, managed to elude capture for 5 years, living a life on the run before finally being apprehended and brought to justice. The long arm of the law had finally caught up with them, shattering the illusion of invincibility that had surrounded their daring feat. The Great Train Robbery, despite its criminal nature, captured the public imagination like few events before it. The sheer audacity of the crime, the meticulous planning, and the large sum of money involved elevated it from a simple robbery to a captivating narrative of daring and ingenuity. The robbers, though criminals in the eyes of the law, became unlikely anti-heroes for some, their exploits romanticized in the retelling. The robbery inspired a slew of books and films, each reimagining and reinterpreting the events of that fateful night. The characters, both the robbers and those tasked with hunting them down, became cultural icons, their names synonymous with the audacity and intrigue of the heist. The Great Train Robbery, once a headline-grabbing crime, had cemented its place in British folklore. The legend of the Great Train Robbery, fueled by popular culture and the passage of time, took on a life of its own. The event transcended its criminal origins, becoming a parable about ambition, greed, and the allure of getting away with the impossible. The line between fact and fiction blurred, the details of the crime interwoven with myth and speculation, ensuring its enduring legacy in the annals of history. The Great Train Robbery, beyond its cultural impact, served as a wake-up call for law enforcement and security agencies across the globe. The audacity and meticulous planning of the heist exposed vulnerabilities in existing security measures, forcing authorities to rethink and revamp their approach to crime prevention. The robbery became a case study, its lessons analyzed and incorporated into training programs and security protocols. The use of forensic science, still in its relative infancy at the time, played a crucial role in solving the crime. The robber's fingerprints, DNA evidence left at the scene, and other trace evidence painstakingly collected and analyzed provided crucial links that helped to identify and apprehend the perpetrators. The Great Train Robbery highlighted the importance of forensic science as a vital tool in the fight against crime. The robbery also led to significant improvements in security measures within the banking and transportation industries. The use of security cameras, tamper-proof seals on valuable shipments, and increased security personnel became standard practice, measures directly aimed at preventing similar heists from occurring in the future. The Great Train Robbery, in its aftermath, forced a reassessment of security protocols, leading to advancements that continue to shape law enforcement and crime prevention strategies today. The Great Train Robbery, though now decades old, continues to fascinate and intrigue, its story retold and reinterpreted across generations. The crime, in all its audacity and meticulous planning, serves as a stark reminder of the human capacity for both great ingenuity and reckless disregard for the law. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of ambition, greed, and the seductive allure of achieving the impossible. The robbery also serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between crime and punishment. While the robbers' actions were undeniably criminal, their story, in its retelling, often blurs the lines between right and wrong. The public's fascination with the heist, the romanticized image of the robbers as folk heroes, speaks to a deeper fascination with rebellion against authority, a vicarious thrill derived from witnessing a well-executed plan, even one with criminal intent. The Great Train Robbery, in its aftermath, left an indelible mark on history. It forced a reassessment of security measures, inspired countless creative works, and continues to spark debate and discussion about the nature of crime, justice, and the enduring fascination with those who dare to challenge the established order. The legend of the Great Train Robbery, a tale of meticulous planning, audacious execution, and the enduring pursuit of justice, continues to resonate, reminding us that even within the seemingly mundane routines of everyday life, the potential for extraordinary events, both criminal and heroic, always exists.